What's going on, guys? Chris Reckless back here again with another video. Episode 2 of Blazing Through the Backlog. Today we are going over Sniper Elite 5, and of course we're going over the 3 main things that make every game up, which is gameplay, story, and performance. So if any of you haven't played the Sniper Elite series before, I highly recommend all the games to you from 1 all the way to 5, and then now with the new one, Resistance, which I hope to get soon. So they're exactly what you would sound. You play a generic soldier guy, he goes around, he's a sniper, he's kind of just that. There really isn't a whole lot else to him. He's a German named Karl. That's kind of just it. All the games take place in different areas. Third one being in Africa, the second one being in Italy, the fifth one now being located in France. They all have their own thing. But the biggest thing with these games, of course, comes down to the size of the maps. So these games are broken down into different individual missions, but these missions all include these smaller open world map type of areas. But as the games continue to progress, they continue to get more and more dense, more and more compact, and more Sniper Elite. They allow you to have more freedom. They allow you to come to these objectives, along with side objectives, of course, tackle them how you wish. And overall, the experience is just better and better every single time. It's one of those games that they don't change up the formula. They simply just improve on it every step of the way they can. In regards to the story, there really isn't a whole lot to say. I personally just skipped through the cutscenes altogether, to be honest with you. I played this game back originally in 2022 when it originally dropped on Game Pass. And yeah, it wasn't memorable. It's one of those games that doesn't require a story because you're there just solely for the gameplay, which is great. Of course, showing clips here from different maps, different areas. The biggest thing with these guys is the fact that they allow you to customize the difficulty of the games to your leisure. So whether you want to increase the sniping mechanics to make it more authentic, more realistic, and they give you less help, you can increase the AI and how quickly it is to rush you, how much damage to do, all the little simple things as well, along with a number of other things. They have 5 difficulties that I played on the second hardest one, just called Sniper Elite. I guess you could call it the hard difficulty, and I had a blast. And the enemies, while they can be a little dumb at times when it comes to them spotting you and then just proceeding to look at you for a solid second or two before they actually decide to attack or run away, whatever the case may be, they kind of still struggle with that. But overall, the enemy is really good at surrounding you and doing what it has to do to try to get you out of there. Now, when I tell you the maps of these games are huge, I do mean they are in fact huge. There's so much packed in these maps. There's so many different ways you can go about doing it. Scalable walls, bushes to hide in, verticality with big ass buildings, and it's just all over the place. You know the developers have a lot of passion for these games because of the way that they not only build these maps, but the way that they build them with extra starting locations for you to replay. Of course, if you want to start somewhere different, because it's going to change up a whole lot of what you're going to do, along with the fact that all the maps have a very unique sensibility to them, whether it's from a castle on the shoreline, general like dome, base hidden in grass field, and so on. They all feel distinctly unique, and it just feels great. You know the developers are really trying hard to give you different experiences every single time. Now, my biggest gripe with this series has always been the fact that they only give you 8 base missions to complete, which no matter how you chalk that up, it's just not a lot. And I understand it with how much time goes into building these maps, the objectives they give you, and so on. So I do understand it. And I will say, it took me just under 17 hours to complete all of them. That was me doing the side objectives, playing the way that I want to play. But this game does very much feed into the way that you want to play, not only with the customization of the guns that you have at your disposal, but along with just with the fact that if you want to just run and gun and not snipe at all for whatever reason, you're allowed to do that. You can. They have a good upgrade tree for what you want to do and how to better help with your playstyle by helping you carry more TNT, grenades, and so on. Maybe you control your heart rate better, so that way you can slow down and snipe a little bit better, and so on. And it's just great overall because the game is built around the player experience and allowing you to play the way that you want to play. Now, I will say one of the biggest things that's always been a fan of the series, and one of the calling cards of it as well, has always been the X-ray kills. Whether you're shooting someone through the heart, blowing their brains out, destroying their balls with bullets, it's always just been great. The melee kills don't always look so good in comparison, and the secondary weapons like machine guns and so on that you can carry, they do have a bit more of a jankiness feel to that, but that is intentional because of the fact that the game is trying to steer you to sniping, so they kind of have to nerf some of the other stuff because otherwise you would probably feel a little OP. I originally haven't played this on Xbox Series X when it came out on Game Pass. The game looked great, and even on Steam Deck, with having to change the little settings a little bit down, they still look great here. I'm playing on medium to high settings with certain different things moved up and down. The game overall still looks great, running at 1080p by 800, and along with mostly medium to some high graphics here and there where I could, the game looks great. Of course, you can have higher graphics if you want, but it's going to lower the frame rate to from 60 to about 40, but either way, the game still runs perfectly fine. I didn't have any bugs, no glitches, no anything, and I think overall the experience was pretty smooth and exactly what I wanted. Some last little things to note here. There are some extra game modes you can have along with a very interesting dynamic. You can still have it happen on occasion. There is an invader mode where you can not only enter other people's games and mess around with them as an enemy sniper, but they can enter into yours as well. You can disable it if you want. You don't want to deal with that. You just want to play the game straight up. There is co-op modes and extra survival mission stuff that you can do. They're all really good. They're all really fun. I personally just played it a little bit just to try it out, but all the same, I've been a fan of the game. I've been a fan of the series. So adding more ways for me to play the game, by all means, I think it feels great. Wrapping up here, if I had to give the game a score, it'd probably be a 9 out of 10 without much of a doubt. My biggest two problems with the game is the fact that the story is just bland. I will say, though, again, that really isn't a need for one, though. But the story they do try to implement is very, very just not good. The characters are interesting. The way they go about it is just like whatever. And so just it's a small hitch, right? But again, you can just skip all the cutscenes. So by all means, I would encourage you to do so because you're really not here for any of that anyways. Secondly, it has to do with the AI. While it is definitely better from the previous games, there's still some clunkiness to it in regards to the fact that they will just, again, stare at you for a solid second or two before they react, which would be kind of annoying. It can break the immersion. But overall, they're still all very good at not only coordinating themselves, but then also flanking you, surrounding you, and getting you killed. One last thing I forgot to mention is the fact that this game, and my biggest problem with it so far in the entire franchise, is the fact that for Sniper Elite 5, if you want to unlock 4 extra missions along with some guns, which personally I really didn't mess around with the customization too much. Yeah, I switched my snipers and my sidearms and so on occasionally, but I did that mostly for achievement reasons. But with this one, you have to spend $40 to $60 more to unlock 4 more missions. 2 missions per season pass, because there's 2 season passes for some reason. Now, with Sniper Elite 4 and the other games, you can get those season passes that give you the extra missions for a lot cheaper nowadays because, of course, it's been some time. But charging $40 to $60, even when on sale, is just an insane price for 4 missions, which are going to add you about 48 hours of gameplay and a couple of extra guns. But again, that is actually just insane, and I just have to call that out because I don't understand how they just kind of like... Again, I understand these maps have a lot put into them and everything, but that is just such an insane price tag, and something that I have to mention here because you will see in the store, whether on the game store, Steam, whatever the case may be, that there is DLC, there are season passes, and there's extra content to be had there, but that's just, again, way too expensive for something like that. But as always, thank you for coming to the video. Hope you enjoyed. I highly encourage all of you to play Sniper Elite 5. It's one of the most underrated franchises out there. I wish the game was talked about more, and I wish these games continue to keep going. Again, I'm going to get Resistance soon. From everything I hear, the game is good, and it just continues the trend of good sniper action, nice, highly realized maps, and at the end of the day, hey, if you're looking to play some games and know what they're doing, this is the perfect franchise for that. Again, once again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like, and I'll be here for more episodes to the backlog. Thank you. Have a nice day.